All right, now it should be fine.
Letting all the viewers have that inside scoop.
Yeah, now they're just part of the intro.
Just kidding. We're going to start it.
Welcome back. I'm going to be so confused when I edit this. I'm going to see two of like the audio jumping for the intro. I'm going to be like, shit, what do I do? Is it 88?
Something like that.
I think that sounds right. That sounds right.
Something like that.
It's been crazy weeks. So.
Yeah.
But coming at you on Tuesdays now, it is 88. So, welcome back, everybody. If you're reading Extreme Ownership with us, hopefully you read along through chapter
4 and 5
this week. So
we're reviewing that.
We'll start with Dilly and how he liked it. Went through it because he actually had to read chapter 3, 4, and 5. So he didn't read that one.
Yeah.
So he actually has 3 chapters to talk to us about.
But before we get deep, let's not do what we did last time and go 25 minutes in without introducing the drink. So let's get that out of the way.
So I was on, I guess on vacation or out of town for the last 4 days, and got back. We drove from Colorado all the way here yesterday. So lots of driving yesterday. A full day, 12 hours. So it was all right.
Good things.
Good things. But yeah, I woke up today and I was like, oh, I got to get the drink. I was like, shit, I still got a little bit of pages to read. And I got to get that drink. So I got both of them done. So that's what I'm talking about. So
nice.
The reason I got this drink before I pull it out, the reason I got it, I saw this. Well, I showed Dilly this guy. I could show you on YouTube. This guy that chugs sodas. You might have seen him before.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Chugs sodas.
What's his name?
I don't know. I've only seen a couple videos of him, but like, you'll see it.
Is this guy that chugs everything?
No, not alcohol. Not that guy.
The guy that was the fucking janitor in the fucking Gulf War, and he was just fucking Gulf Warring it up, and he's like, he would chug fucking Whiteout and fucking
not this guy.
Full Fist and Everclear.
Yeah, what is that guy's name?
Badlands?
It's
Badlands
like an
Chugs?
S.
Yeah, this guy, Badlands Chugs. Just massive dude. Chugging. Here, just flip it around. Don't turn it up because nobody can hear it.
I know. I was turning on the brightness.
Look at that size of that wine glass. He drinks all the Mountain Dews at once.
He puts all these.
Face of disgust.
Everybody that's listening, Badlands Chugs.
Badlands Chugs. Shout out Badlands Chugs, baby.
Badlands
Hungry and
Chugs.
focused since 1997.
I mean, this guy, and he puts several. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
There's one hiding back there.
11.
11 Mountain Dews all into one massive wine glass, and he chugs it all. I think he crushes all of them.
I have been blatantly honest about my opinions with overweight people.
Oh, we have. Yeah,
this
shout
bitch,
out to like
this
the
guy is
second or third
This
episode.
bitch is celebrating his zoomed-in baby arms.
He is.
Zoomed in, baby.
He is.
Throwback to that beautiful episode.
He's definitely.
He's not lasting more than 2 more years.
Yeah, he's asking for
You doing
diabetes
this?
at
Yeah,
this point.
come on.
Your kidneys are screaming for help.
I think that's the one right there. That
Yes,
Spark.
that's it.
That's the one I grabbed. So I wasn't going for it because
Dude,
there's
he's
a
so
new
heavy he can't even open his eyelids
here
all
it
the
is.
way.
Mountain Dew Spark.
Look at him. He can't even open his eyes all the way.
So they can kind of see it on.
Oh my god!
You guys
Yeah,
can
like,
kind of see it on the screen.
how does he not suffocate underneath his neck rolls?
Oh, I might have to just pop this video you're looking at.
About to chug it.
You guys can barely see it, but you can kind of get the gist of it on the screen. He's chugging a whole wine glass full of 11 Mountain Dews. He's 10 seconds in. You gotta wait for the finale when he finishes it. It's absolutely
It's
legendary.
a giant fucking belch.
Yes. Oh, he's absolutely battling right now. This guy is in the trenches right now, battling his heart out. His heart probably will go out any second, but
If I have 2 sodas and my stomach's full, almost done.
almost done. 35 seconds in, he's almost finished with 11 Mountain Dews. Keep in mind, most of them average 60 to 70 grams of sugar each. He's sitting at about 500 grams of sugar.
That's what I'm talking about. That's Chuck, folks. Till next time, keep watching Badlands Chugs.
I'm never gonna fucking watch this idiot.
Badlands.
This
Badlands, baby.
He's a fucking idiot.
Probably not the smartest thing to do. Don't recommend everybody listening.
No, that'll catch up to him quick.
Yeah. That's for sure. So, in honor of Badlands, I got Mountain Dew Spark. I wasn't going for this one, actually. I was going for, there was like a 4th of July one, because this is going to be my drink closest to 4th of July, right? So, I was looking for it. It was nowhere to be seen in the store. So, maybe it was just like a one thing. I think it was a year ago they came out with it, so maybe it was just last year. I don't know.
Who knows?
Or it hasn't come out yet. Maybe they're ripping them out the day before. Who knows? But this was like the closest thing. Like essentially like the same branding, summer vibes, you know.
The artwork's pretty cool on it.
It says, with a blast of raspberry lemonade, and only 65 grams of sugar. So
I was gonna go 265, but
that's still insane. 65 grams.
So is it supposed to be like a pink lemonade?
So keep in mind, anyone that's listening, I don't know where I heard this. I can double check and look it up, but I believe 4 grams of sugar is 1 sugar cube. So many sugar cubes.
Or you could look that up. That fucking laptop.
Let me double check. Let me.
Or search up like how much sugar packets, how many grams of sugar is in a sugar packet. That one's easier, I think, and easier to visualize.
Yeah, 4 grams of sugar in a cube. How did I remember that? Don't know.
Go do the packets now. Smells good. Smells like sugar. All right, I'm going for it.
Oh, 4 grams. Same thing.
Oh, no kidding.
That's good to know. I didn't know that. Oh, wow. I don't do math, whatever.
Tastes like Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
I haven't had Mountain Dew in years because it has how much sugar. It's actually insane. But it scares me.
It kind of scares me because I'm also reading Hillbilly Elegy right now, and they're talking about fucking Mountain Dew mouth in the fucking Appalachian Hills and all that. Yeah.
What is that all about?
Hillbilly Elegy?
Fill me in.
It's a book.
Okay.
The fucking movie. I haven't finished the book yet, but
I've heard about it.
I watched the movie. The movie was fucking great.
Was it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Friday Night Lights-esque. I don't want to say that because it's not a sports movie.
Okay.
It's literally a kid living in a fucked up fucked up area of Ohio with a fucked up family that's like
true story?
Yeah, true story.
Oh, gotta check it. Maybe
I've
seen it. It sounds awfully familiar.
It pretty much instantly blew up the second it was published. So yeah, finally reading it after I watched the movie, and I loved the movie. I was always planning on reading it, but I just never got around to it. But after I watched the movie, I was like, I fucking need to read this book.
Right. Okay.
And so reading it right now, and yeah, he's talking about Mountain Dew mouth and this and that, because like just absolute like in the sticks, like mobile home, house to house,
of course,
food stamps constantly, like, relying on grandma and grandpa to live and survive.
Right.
Just like, but just barely existing through life.
Yeah. Hardcore hustling. Yeah.
Everyone is going to say you are not going to go anywhere in life,
if you survive,
because
that's making
if you survive past 18, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to escape this town because
you're lucky you made it that far.
You're lucky you made that far, and there's no prospects for you because you had no way of progressing when you were younger.
Yeah.
And
that's what
through all that, he was able to progress.
Of course.
And whatnot. Awesome. And coming to terms, understanding that. It's a really good book.
Okay, I'll check it out. Definitely check it out. What's the Mountain Dew mouth thing?
So he was talking about how there was like in poor communities, and this is very well documented.
Okay.
Normally really fucked up shit, really bad food and drinks and stuff like that is cheaper than healthy products.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like usually. You can get a fucking $2 burrito that will fill you up at Taco Bell. That's horrible for you. Or you could spend $5.50 for organic bananas that suffices for one meal.
I like where you're going with this because I've been curious about stuff like this.
One of the things that he brought up was like there were like all those infotainment ads and stuff when he was growing up, and newspaper articles about Mountain Dew mouth, where all these kids and people in the Appalachian Mountains were drinking such large amounts of Mountain Dew, but really just any soda.
Right.
It completely fucked their mouth raw.
I'm guessing
into nothingness.
That would make sense.
Wow. Yeah.
If you were drinking it like water.
Yeah. And he was like, there's a combination of like
sugar,
missed dental visits and this and that, and like other circumstances like chewing tobacco and stuff like that.
Of course.
But like such a large like epidemic in like these very like low wage like coal mining steel mill communities in the Appalachians.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Just like all these kids were having Mountain Dew mouth, is what they called it, where their mouth was just completely ruined because of so much soda they were drinking.
Well, I'll cheers to that.
I'm looking at. Oh my God! Yeah, it just eats away their teeth.
Yeah, Mountain Dew mouth. You just looked up that.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah. Are you looking at the photos right now?
Yeah.
Show me some photos.
Oh, sorry.
As we sip some Mountain Dew Spark.
It's delicious. I tell you what.
It's asking me like 50 questions. Gotta get through the hard part.
Only 129% added sugars. Not bad.
Not bad. I didn't know it could go over 100.
Why are you having to answer 50 questions? Show me a photo. You're
right, seriously. What are you doing?
He's
on Facebook now. He's talking to an AI bot or something.
I'll just look it up myself. Yep, there it is. Yeah, it's fucked up. But yeah, really good book. Really good book.
Definitely check
Amazing.
It out. Would you get that off your screen?
I think the movie, it's on, I can't remember if it was on Amazon Prime or Netflix, but it's on one, I think Prime.
Yeah,
and it's,
Okay, I got both those, so I'll check it out.
Super recommend the movie. After you watch the movie, you're going to be like, I need to read the book. Okay. And the book has so much more to offer.
So is that one of the 3 books you're reading?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want another damn sip of this Mountain Dew after like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. After you hear about that, you're like,
yeah, but they were probably drinking like fucking
gallons,
10 a day.
It don't matter. You're like, I don't need this.
I understand. But that's just sugar and what it does to your mouth if you drink too much or have too much of it.
What I always,
no matter what it is.
Yeah, true. What I always do, I mean, call me nuts, but if I ever have like a bunch of soda or something, I usually drink water like immediately after it, just so it doesn't sit.
No, that's normal.
Oh, okay, it doesn't sit in your teeth.
I definitely do that too. No, I have to
rinse it
I have to brush my teeth after I drink soda.
Yeah.
Especially like dark colored sodas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want it in there.
Yeah.
Sticky, nasty.
Yeah, it's bad, but yeah, Hillbilly Elegy is one of them, and then I was reading Papillon, but that one I finished, so that one's...
Papillon?
Yeah, Papillon.
Papillon.
Sounds hot. What is that? I don't
know. It's a dude.
Oh, my fault.
Don't show Seth this. They'll expose you.
It's a dude.
My fault. I didn't know, guys.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't know.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the one I've talked about before. The dude that was early 20th century prisoner in French Guyana from the French government, and like he was doing forced manual labor and stuff like that, and he just did nonstop escapes, trying to finally escape, and then he finally did and was welcomed into society back again after like 15 years or 18 years, I think it was. I can't remember exactly.
Holy moly.
He gave 18 years he was doing constant hard labor and like just horrible punishments and stuff like that.
Insane.
For a murder that he didn't even commit.
Jeez. When was this?
Early 20th century. I think I can't remember when he was. You got to do the math, and I can't remember if it was 18 years or something different. I want to say 18 years, but he was finally officially freed in 1945 after Venice. He escaped one last time, made it to Venezuela. And Venezuela was like, okay, we'll give you a 1-year trial period in society, and if you can make 1 year, we'll give you official papers, and you're an official Venezuelan citizen.
Wow.
And he did it. He pulled
amazing.
It off. But yeah, it was like 18 years, like fucked up shit. Like,
I'm sure it was ridiculous.
Yeah, like there was one thing called the reclusion, where if they pissed you off and you pissed off the guards and this and that, like one of the punishments was the reclusion, which was these, like, I think he said it was like, he didn't have measuring tape or anything. He had literally nothing in it. But it was essentially a 7-foot by 8-foot box.
Oh, God.
That you weren't allowed to speak whatsoever, or you would be mercilessly beaten if you were.
You just had to sit in it?
Yeah, and he was in it for 2 years straight consecutively.
Oh, my God.
Without seeing another human being for 2 straight years.
God.
He was in he was not allowed out for like an hour into the sunlight or anything for 2 straight years. He was dead silent in a box by himself.
And they just fed him and gave him water and
and extremely malnourishment. That was one of the things he talked about was you like were terrified of illness because they gave you just enough food to sustain yourself but not build yourself back up. So if you get sick, that's your new baseline. They wouldn't give you enough food to get healthy again after the illness. So if you got ill, that's just your new basic self.
It's amazing what your body can go through,
Yeah.
Right.
And then there was a whole thing that happened where people were smuggling in coconuts to him in his ration, so he was actually gaining more food and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So then they lessened it even more than
Because
what it
they
was.
found-
So for
oh,
like the
jeez.
last like 5 months of his 2-year period, and that was only one of his stints in the reclusion. He had multiple.
Oh, jeez.
But the last 5 months or something like that, or 4 months, it was like basically just bread and water. Like he described it in his book, like if it went on for like another few months, he probably would have died.
Wow.
That's insane.
But he made it 2 straight years without talking to a single human being.
That's insane. I'm surprised I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
But, so you
also,
just finished that.
a great movie. So this is the second time I've read it. I read it, watched
Wow.
the movie, and then I read it again because it's a great, amazing story.
No kidding. So there is a movie.
Yeah, that one's also extremely good. That movie,
Also a true story.
true story, but that movie, they fucking excluded majority of the story out and changed major portions of it
Really?
to make it understand.
Oh, okay.
Like I would say a solid 40%, but maybe like 25%
Okay.
of the whole entire book is him talking about his first escape, which he called Cavals
Okay.
in the book. And he escaped, made it all the way from French Guiana to Colombia.
Right.
And he spent 11 months, or no, not 11 months, 7 months
Right.
with a native Indian tribe there.
Wow.
And
he talked
he
about that.
lived with them. They embraced him, took him in as their own.
Whoa.
He was like, and they like had these tattoos. Like he had a butterfly on his chest, and he had a tiger on his rib cage, and he was tatted up because he was a safecracker in France. He was part of the underworld. He was just not a murderer or anything. He was a safecracker.
Okay.
So he had all these tattoos and whatnot, and the Indian people, like all the chiefs in all the villages, wanted his tattoos, so he started tattooing, and they embraced him
wow.
as his own.
That's pretty
He
crazy.
had 2 wives, and got
Attaboy.
for sure one of them pregnant, and pretty positive the second one pregnant.
Dang, buddy
They were
Palms.
sisters.
Nice.
And he
Wow.
got
Double
both.
wombo.
Runs in the
Yeah, and he
family.
got them both pregnant and whatnot.
Right.
And then he finally, after like 7 months, was an idiot and decided to leave them
Right.
and try to go back into civilization.
Jeez.
And when he did that, some nuns ratted him out when they found him and sent him back to French Guiana. And then he had to go through a whole 13-year process all over again.
Holy moly.
They just ixnayed that whole entire living with the Indians thing out of it. And then like
Wonder why? Because it was too much? Or?
I don't know. And then there were people that were at the beginning of the story that he was working with to escape that were dead or gave up on escaping, or they served their sentence time. But
Wow.
instead of like changing out the characters just like the book did, because
Right.
he had different people help him over time,
Right.
he just it was the same people the whole way through.
So
Instead.
the movie was mid then?
No, the movie's great, but it is not the book.
I
Like
see.
it is, you could very much argue it is
Okay.
2 totally different stories.
Wow. That is
But
insane.
both are amazing.
That's very cool.
Yeah, which is why I
I'm
also
have to check both those out.
yeah, which I also say fuck the people that always say the book is better or the book is better than the movie or
Right.
something like that. It's like fuck you. Sometimes like the movie is fucking better,
Right. It happens.
Yeah.
and also it's just literally equal or just different.
Right.
It's like the same. Yeah.
Like that Papillon movie
Papillon.
is great. The book is great.
But they're different.
They're different.
Yeah.
Even though they're supposed to be the same thing, they're 2 totally different. But I absolutely love both of them.
Okay.
So, like,
Both those stories you just told, I got.
yeah, but
to
I
check
finished
out.
Papillon. So now I need to find another book to read.
Still going with the 3 books at a time.
Well, I mean, 3 books at a time because like I read them, but I also listen to audiobooks as
okay.
well. So it's like,
Depends what. Yeah, and that's audiobooks are kind of nice when you're working and stuff. And
yeah,
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
yeah, but they're good.
That's awesome. So, should we get into this book
Yeah.
now?
yeah. Should we talk
The
about
book that
it?
we're actually reading and talking about for this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we did chapters 4 and 5. Dilly did 3, 4, and 5. Dilly took a lot of notes, so he's got a lot of info for us.
I'm always ready.
Always ready, baby. Did your homework.
Always ready.
I didn't do as many. No, they're adding up. You can kind of see the tabs on the screen, maybe. But I didn't take as many. This one's mainly because I was either on the camper and trying not to puke because just like I get really like motion sickness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll
sickness.
do it.
Well, if I'm reading or looking down at something.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to get through the pages. So I didn't really read much on the camper because I was like, it was already hard enough sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if I was doing it out in the tent or outside the tent, it was so windy about lost the book out of my hands. So I still took some notes, but not as many as the other chapters. But we'll let Dilly go. Should we have Dilly talk about 3, or should we just go straight to 4 and 5?
Just straightforward.
You guys want to? You don't want to do first, or you want me to?
No, we'll go you first, then we'll talk about it.
Chapter
right.
4. Let's talk about Chapter 4. What was Chapter 4? What happened?
I have to review.
Where are you
I
going?
did
You're
it.
in chapter 6 or right
What am I
there.
doing? I wasn't expecting to be called on, first. Shit.
You always got to be ready. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I'm in it.
Yeah, what happened in Chapter 4?
Chapter 4. What was the
So-
We'll talk about
takeaway from
just like always. We're gonna do summary of the chapter and then key takeaways and then specific details. So, what was the summary?
So you guys hit this. You do the summary, and then I'll do stuff after that.
No, we did the summary last 2 times.
Why
Now 2
is this
times.
the thing? So honestly, I read it. It's just a lot. To me, it's a lot. It's just jumbled. I only absorbed the principle and the application business is my favorite part. But
Okay,
I
so
think it's
what was
cool.
the title of Chapter 4?
Let's start there.
God, dude, I didn't expect this.
Well, you always got to expect it. Come on now.
Make me unexpected.
I can't even
Um,
say expect the unexpected because this is just expected. We've just been
Once you
I was
read-
expected to talk about it, but I guess, yeah. I mean,
all
so the
read it.
chapter, check the ego.
Good job.
You read,
yeah,
You read
so-
the title. Okay, nice.
Yeah. So check the ego. So it's about ego. I can go expand on that.
So, what was the military story?
There you go.
I don't remember. If I'm honest. Yeah. So that's all.
I'll
you-
talk about
I'll
it.
do the application to real life or whatever.
All right.
That's my favorite part.
Okay,
but it's-
while Tanner summarizes the military story, start reviewing what the business story was so you can summarize that for us, okay?
I read this at the beginning of the week, so I'm just looking real quick just to make sure I don't mix up the 2 chapters.
Tanner and I.
No, I read
It's
it.
all good.
I took notes.
That's good.
I was prepared.
So
I was prepared. But I'm
Oh.
just making sure I don't mess it up. But it was essentially like,
was this one?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So-
we both got.
no, I got it.
No,
You
I
fucked
got
up.
it. This is the
So-
one where this guy was ahead of himself.
Yes, that's what ego is. So,
You know what, dickhead? Just because you keep talking, I'm taking over. So this is
all right,
when
you go.
this is when I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I just want
I
to
know.
win this.
I
So
could tell.
win. You lose. So I think this is about this guy that commander was his ego is threatened.
Stop
So,
reading the chat.
Yeah. So he was basically he didn't want to admit to being wrong.
That's what ego
Some of the
is.
stuff. Yeah. So
Keep describing what
fuck,
ego
I
is.
have to expect it. Go ahead. All right.
Yeah,
I just
okay,
can't.
that's what I thought. So, no, but like when the SEAL teams were going with what was it? These other
There was different cops.
Right.
So,
the terminology I always struggle with, but
I believe it was Cop Falcon. That was the premise of the story.
okay, yeah, and they didn't. The biggest thing I was taking away from that I thought was really interesting is they wouldn't.
Not doing takeaways. We're just doing summary right now.
Well, we'll just let you do it then because I'm gonna fuck it up.
God. So go ahead.
I'm being honest.
All right, so quick summary of the chapter, and then we'll let you guys do
Right.
the takeaways because you guys are fucking itching.
I
All right.
could,
All right.
I could, but I just don't want to.
I love you guys. You guys are great. My best friends. You guys are great.
That's right.
Flipping through. Well,
Well, key takeaways. Okay, that's not a summary. That's a takeaway. All right, summary of
It's summarizing it like 2 pages.
All right, so
takeaways.
summary of chapter 4. So the military portion of the chapter, the military story was, and Jocko is the one that wrote this one. So
That's
there
right.
you go. So Jocko, and so like all the SEAL teams for Task Force Bruiser, which was what his thing that he was in
That was
charge of,
Jocko's.
was at this one cop whatever. I can't remember his main one. But then, like, as the deployment went on, they were developing new ones further into the city to display a presence. One of those is Cop Falcon. So he sent just one platoon, and he probably had, like, 3 or 4 platoons or whatever, imprised of everything that he was in charge of. So he only sent one of them to this Cop Falcon,
That's
this
right.
new one. And they were integrated with the 101st, the famous Band of Brothers unit. Was there. Obviously not the World War II guys, but the same unit.
Same unit, yep.
Was in charge of it. So the Army was in charge of it. The SEALs were there as a support group, essentially, to work in tandem. So Jocko's SEALs were doing really good at integrating. Like, a lot of everyone that knows Special Forces and all that knows, like, those are the guys that are allowed to wear beards in the military, even though you're not supposed to have beards in the military and long hair. And they kind of wear whatever camouflage they see fit for the thing. They really don't have like a grooming standard or this is your uniform. It's kind of you wear and be and fit as you see necessary for the mission.
Yeah.
It's not this is it and this is that. So for this, they decided, well, we have to integrate. We have to work together with the Army, and they have and this and that, and if we want to be successful. So they do all these like extra things. Like, they're like, no, we are going to shave. We are going to have good haircuts. We are going to wear the same uniforms as the Army. Also, that way there's not like this whole like us and them thing. It's just us.
Yep.
So later on, and then like things are going crazy, and Special Forces love to kill people. So when they got to see, so when other Special Forces units not in Ramadi got to see what all of these guys in Task Force Bruiser were doing and like killing like motherfuckers, they wanted a piece of it. Finally, another group that was also doing like stuff with the Iraqi army outside of Ramadi got approval to come in, go to the same Cop Falcon, and integrate. And this guy that was under Chaco, that's been doing all this extra work, shaving, this and that, blah, 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 was worried, and he was like, they're really good. Like, their Iraqi military guys are better than us. Like, I think they're going to do better, and they're going to take our missions.
Right.
And Jocko basically was like, no, check your ego, shut the fuck up. Doing that mentality is how people get killed. Like, you need to help them with everything they can, even though they're this and that. And then as time goes on, these guys just are trying to be fucking cool SEALs or whatever, have long hair, this and that. There's like all these disagreements and problems with the Army. So then the Army ends up kicking these other SEALs back outside of Ramadi because they're like, we can't handle you, fuck off. But they kept the fucking Jocko people. So the lesson of the whole thing is like, check your ego. Stop being full of it. You're not high and mighty and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's like ego cloud.
Yeah. And then, so the business story was... let me see if I can get a couple of notes just to help me. Oh, and Leif Babin wrote the application to business for this one. And this story was basically like high executives. I think it was like an oil company. You can kind of pick up that it was an oil company.
Yeah,
drilling, yeah. I kind of always imagine it as like there's probably like this 30 or late 20-year-old executive that kind of oversees the whole scope of it, like 25 drilling fields all across Texas kind of thing. He sees the big macro, big picture.
But there's like a 50-year-old...
50, 60-year-old dude that works at one field that knows how to run an oil field perfectly.
Been there for a long time.
And he's been there like decades longer than this guy has, but he's always just focused on running a single oil field.
Right.
This old dude... decided to do something that was against what this other guy said. And now this guy is like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? He's going to check. He's going to have such an ego about it. And it's just going to turn into a fight because he lost the company and it's his fault. And we lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because of his decision, because he didn't listen to me. And Leif was advising him and being like, check your ego. Don't make it a you fucked up and that's why we're in this situation thing. It's a we fucked up. We should have worked together. Blame it on yourself. Check your own ego before you get into the conversation, because when you're saying it's his fault, that's you inflating your ego, saying it couldn't have been my fault, kind of thing. So if you check your ego, it's so much easier for someone else in the situation to also check their ego. And then it becomes a productive conversation instead of a yelling match between each other that gets nowhere.
Right.
Take it away with the big
takeaways.
Yes,
I'll do quickly mine. What I was going to say before the summary my big takeaways, but they're takeaways, not a summary, was the like how they refused to like clean up and stuff, like the army platoon or whatever. It's called.
the other SEALs.
Right. Yeah. So they weren't respecting them or anything, and I thought that was really interesting how they would wear their hair long and stuff like that, and do whatever the hell they wanted because they're like, we're the baddest motherfuckers.
Yeah,
nobody can tell us what to do.
They're allowed, but just because it's one of those things where just because you're allowed doesn't mean you should.
Exactly. So I thought that was really interesting. One of the notes I said was because I was like amazed that they had him leave. That was like crazy to me. I was like, whoa, that's how
like normally you would just be like,
it is.
You're special forces, and this is scary and dangerous. We'll take all of you that I possibly can.
That shows you kind of how crazy that was. And the last thing I kind of like, the big thing I wrote down was just, or at least highlighted, was the most difficult ego to deal with is your own, which I thought was like really the line that really was all about this chapter, right? I think it was like,
that's huge.
That's it right there. When I read that, I'm like, yeah, that's the whole purpose of the chapter right there. So it was a great chapter. I think the application of business was great. I think the biggest thing I took away from that part was when thinking, just kind of putting yourself in that guy's shoes, right? Where it's like, it'd be really hard to not have an ego, right? In that moment where it's like, God, this dude really
fucked me right now.
He fucked up bad, cost us thousands of dollars, and it's something, he did, and I told him to do the opposite or whatever happened, right?
Right.
But to say like it's my fault. I should have described like I should have told you what the oversight was for everything to make it more understandable why we do things like this. And the purpose is kind of like what you're saying, was so that it wouldn't be like, it would just be an ego shouting match that wouldn't go anywhere. So I was just like, oh yeah, probably the other guy would be like kind of taken back by this younger guy saying that, and then it would probably go smoothly and everybody would understand. So.
And I think another thing with just us dudes being dudes, we're naturally dudes being dudes. We're naturally competitive, you could say.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have that ego, and once we realize there's no wall I have to put up, and it's like, all right, this guy is
and it's hard because like a lot of times your ego will mask the right choice, the right action so well, you just think it's impossible for it to work. Yeah. Like in that business thing when he repeatedly was asking Leaf Babin, do you really think that'll work? Like, do you actually think like me holding back my own ego and acting like this will make it productive? You don't think he's just going to walk on top of me because of that or this and that? Like he was like in disbelief.
Yeah.
So it's just like
that's what I was thinking.
And that's like proof of concept of that statement of like the hardest thing is checking your own ego.
Right. That's the difficult
and
ego
whatnot. Like his ego was so hard to fucking manage. It was like it literally made him believe checking his ego would be the wrong decision.
Yeah, I think the last part of getting over your ego is realizing that it is like thinking about it like, oh, he's actually not just going to like walk all over me, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Because when you're like, if I have 0% ego, he's just going to crush me, So it makes sense why you would think that way, right?
Yeah.
But if you go in with 0%, has to be 0%. It can't be 1%, because then it could be a little tricky. And he could walk all over you if that's the case.
Yeah.
But if you go in with 0%, then that person would have a realization on what you're doing.
Yeah, so. And there's a difference between checking your ego and not being confident.
Right. I was about to say, like, you don't want to be like a bitch.
You don't want to be pussyfooting.
No,
yeah,
of course not.
Like in that business situation, like if him going in there with the conversation with this guy that's been in the business for 38 years and he's only been in the business for 12.
Right.
If he goes in and is confident, like in the book he was, and goes, we fucked up, this and that, blah, 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 here's why, let's work together in the future so we can understand this so this mistake doesn't happen again. Right. That's confidence, and that he'll respond positively to that. But if you walk in and you're like, so a couple of mistakes were made.
Yeah.
It's no one's fault, but like we really need to just get
fucking say it.
handle on it. And he's going to be like, okay, fuck off. I'm going to keep doing my thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Junior. Here's a juice box.
Juice box.
True, there's a fine line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Juice box guy.
You got to be confident, but you also need to remove
Right.
your ego from it.
Right. And I think Leaf did a really good job at explaining that. in
Yeah,
the
he did a
business
wonderful
part.
job.
So, just because, having confidence, but just being clear
Yeah,
on what you were saying. Being clear and showing leadership, you're able to do that.
yeah. And yeah, just
Everybody
egos.
can win.
Yeah, and egos can be such a motherfucker. In the business story, it was his ego made him think the absolutely worst way to go about this conversation was the right way. And in the military thing, his ego, the platoon leader's ego, literally made him think the correct decision was not assisting these guys, not telling them the tips, not giving them
Right.
advice, and literally
That's right.
making
That's
it
right.
a likelihood that more people that were on
crazy.
his side would be dying.
Crazy that they wouldn't.
Like an almost guarantee, like they would be dying
Right.
way more
Right.
than they should. His ego was like, that's the right decision.
Crazy.
They need to die so they
That's a
can
good way
learn.
to put it, because that's
Like
insane.
that's the craziest
That's insane.
decision.
That's insane.
That's the worst decision. But your ego
Especially when
literally
you're
brings
in,
you to that.
Yeah, when you're in that space. So that was a great chapter. Very.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say simple, but I think it was just a chapter where it was like needed to explain.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
one that you wouldn't really think about.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
Very well.
yeah, good. The military one just kind of blew my mind. I was like, the business one, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I've seen that
Yeah.
personally many times. But the military one, at that high of a level, the highest level,
Yeah.
it was like
With the highest risks involved.
Right.
Where
Highest
you should
risk, highest
never
moments.
have any
crazy.
ego should not be
I couldn't-
dictating where you're going to do
I couldn't
something.
believe they wouldn't tell him anything. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? What do
Yeah.
you mean you're not telling anything?
Exactly,
That's
because
so
like
stupid.
just like in previous chapters, where it was like literally the fucking fog of war, extreme ownership, where they talking about
Right.
blue on blue. It was literally a lapse of shared information that caused that, and these guys are just openly and willingly saying, "We're going to go into that situation instead of the other."
kind of similar to chapter 5 too. That
There
kind
you
of
go.
was similar to what happened
And-
in chapter 5.
If I'm going to be honest here, because it's now we're in part 2 of the book.
After chapter 5.
Chapter 4 was the last of part
Okay,
1.
chapter 5 was the second.
It
Right.
literally
Yes.
says it. Yeah. So now we're in
Oh yeah, you're right.
part 2,
Chapter
the laws
5
of
was-
combat.
Right, chapter 5 was
Is the
Part
first
2.
of part 2,
correct.
and then the first ones were what was part 1 called? Winning the war within.
Right. So what were you going to say?
So-
you were like, honestly?
Honestly, I'm a little worried for part 2.
Uh-oh.
I'm a little worried, mostly for Dilly,
Why say that?
because this whole entire time through these first 4 chapters, Dilly has made it abundantly clear.
I like how defensive nothing's
He
even happened yet.
needs to get punched over the head like a brick
Why?
for him to get the motivation to change his
Right.
actions.
Right.
Like he needs to
Well,
get
let's-
directly told.
Yep.
This is
right.
what I
And
need. Yeah.
the part 1 is the directly.
That's the direct right to
Part
Chapter
2
6?
is the nuance
you.
of it all,
Okay.
Oh,
where
I
it's
see.
like not everything's a perfect straight line,
Right.
and part 2 is kind of a proof of concept with that, where you kind of have to introduce multiple concepts of part 1
Okay.
to successfully pull off concepts they
excited for
talk
that.
about in part 2.
I'm excited for that, honestly, because I want to figure out what the right terms or words are to describe it, but I was getting used to this style of chapter, and I was like, is this really going to go out the whole way of the book? So now it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, because like before, so these first 4 chapters were like extreme ownership,
Right.
your ego,
Right.
this, that, like
Yeah.
Basic
one,
little things.
Cover and move, or not cover and move. That's in
one
part 2.
decisive thing.
Believe.
Yeah, believe.
No
Yeah.
bad teams, only bad leaders.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Those are all the chapters. So it's like very exact. One specific thing doesn't take a lot of squinting at the page for you to understand the concept that they're trying to
Yep.
show to you. Part 2 is where the nuance starts
Oh,
coming
I'm excited
in,
for that,
and then
actually.
you're like,
Because if I'm like super honest, it would 1-2 pages in to these chapters, I've got it. Like,
yeah, you already understand
I
where they're
totally get the whole.
Yeah, you're like,
the
I
message.
I
got the
understand
message.
where they're going with
Yeah.
this now.
Right.
Yeah.
I would learn the lesson. That's what it was.
Yeah.
2 pages out, I'm like, boom, I got the
And
lesson.
then
down.
the rest of that chapter is like repetition to
Just repetition,
further solidify the
Exactly.
idea in your head.
which I think is great.
Yeah, it is.
But-
now it's like nuance where you're pulling believing and extreme ownership and ego
I like that.
all together into one
pretty
to
cool.
pull off
I'm
one
excited
thing.
about that, actually.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping it would do that. I didn't know. So
So
that'll be good. So
so
It's pretty
perfect
neat.
because chapter 5 is the first of part 2.
first chapter
So
of part
let's
2.
talk about it. Do either one of you even want to attempt the summary?
Well, let's have Dilly attempt first. It's the most recent chapter, so it should be easier.
I like what you put it on me. You get
What's the
back here.
title?
Chapter 5.
Yeah,
Well, let's
it's
see
on the top
here.
right of the page.
You tell what chapter? This doesn't tell you what chapter. Oh, I'm on 6. I'm on 6, guys.
Why are you on 6? We didn't read
I
6.
fucking didn't know what to read, so I just kept reading,
What?
which is good. But
did you
I also don't absorb anything.
Well,
So
that's a
just
problem
there.
for reading. You kind of need to absorb.
I'm not gonna lie. This still isn't my cup of tea.
If you
That
keep
sounds
telling
really
yourself
gay.
that,
It sounds,
this is exactly what Mail was
sus.
just talking about.
but
Literally,
it doesn't. I'm gonna.
Fucking worried.
I'm gonna
Exhibit
be.
A.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. All I
fucking
see.
worried.
I love that they're explaining. This is gonna be real shit. I love that they're explaining their experiences and how it applies. But I can't relate to any of their experiences. But I can relate to the application of business or the principle of it.
Perfect.
So that's
Just like
the
how they
highlighted thing.
translated it, because it's not supposed to be an inspirational story. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
an educational
right.
Yeah,
model.
it
Yeah.
is pretty good. Yeah, that's
It's
true.
an educational model. It's not a motivational book.
I guess I'm looking for more of a motivational book. Maybe that's
It's
my
not.
thing,
It's
but
not a motivational book where it's fucking Steve Harvey saying God is within you and you are all God within
not what I-
yourselves and you can be the greatest man if
that's
you
not
ever
that.
can be if you believe in yourself. Like
I
it's
need-
not that. It's
It's not that. Yeah.
yeah.
It's not necessarily Steve Harvey. I don't know why you pick on Steve Harvey. I love Steve. Family Feud. Come on. Well,
Yeah, he's
I'm-
great, but like chill with him.
I know, but I'm thinking.
Get
Well,
off the stash.
we'll bring up Goggins too. For instance, Goggins.
Yeah.
He's of course he's.
Have you
down.
read his
He's
books?
Fucking crazy. Not yet.
I don't know
Well,
how. That's exactly.
I want to. I need. That's exactly what I need.
Zapped off of his books, bro.
Exactly what I need. Because I, but this is assuming that
But he
you.
also has a lot of similar stuff. Not to this, but he talks
Yeah.
about similar stuff.
That's true. I can see it. I mean, yeah, this is assuming that you have your feet planted. You're doing pretty well. You just need a little bit of guidance.
I don't
kinda.
know.
That's kind of what I.
I think you can. No, I think this book describes that you can put extreme ownership into literally every decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day.
And
With
without
every little thing.
and without extreme ownership, you're more likely bound to fail than succeed.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Just like simple decisions on maybe I should take notes and read the chapter because it'd
Yeah.
be good for me to learn.
Yeah.
Just
That's
don't.
extreme ownership.
It is
Your own
ownership
life.
if you want to. Yeah, if you want to do it. Yeah. It's just.
If you want to have ownership
you
of
wanna-
your life.
if you
Yeah,
wanna
it
learn
is
and
something to do if you want to have ownership
succeed.
of your life.
Yeah.
And grow as a human. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to get into this. So
You're the one
we're
that started it.
I know you didn't get into it because you
Oh,
don't ever
no.
fucking
I-
practice what you read.
I'd like. I don't want this. This isn't my thing. But
Having ownership.
no, this is. I want it to tell me. I want it to say, "You look in the fucking mirror." You want to get me? I'm
Yeah, that's
sorry,
literally
guys.
David
But
Goggins'
like
book.
That's what I need.
But like
That's what I need.
I talked about
Good.
in last
I didn't
episode.
mean to yell, guys. Sorry, headphone users.
like I said last episode.
Yeah.
If you can't yell at yourself in the mirror to get out of bed and
Mm-hmm.
actually have ownership of your life, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many people are yelling at you to have ownership of your life.
That's
You
what you
will
need.
never have ownership of your life. You are bound to fail. You will
If you
fail.
don't do anything,
And
yeah.
you will never actually succeed in anything
Mhm.
that you're attempting in this motivational quest of yours unless you're
Yes.
able to yell at yourself.
That's what I'm
And
doing.
you're not yelling at yourself.
I don't know why the fuck you're coming at me. See, this is my ego right now.
Bitch, no.
Leave it at the door.
You can't
Because-
say that because literally just before I went on that statement, you said, I need David Goggins to be yelling at me saying, motherfucker, you need to do that. So
That's what I
literally
need.
you are searching for someone to yell at you when you need to be searching for yourself to yell at yourself.
Yes, and that's
deep.
I need that, but I need someone to yell at me, so I yell at myself, like you said. Yes. But
you bitch,
I know it's exactly what you just said.
No, it's not. You literally said that, but not that.
I don't even know what's happening anymore. I lost.
Oh my God.
That was awesome.
It's more, the thing is, I have my reasons.
Shut up,
Siri's
Siri.
telling you something.
I'm like, whose Apple Watch is
got
going
my
off? I'm looking
Siri.
at both of you.
My Siri is an Australian.
That's how you
But
like
either way,
You're
you
British?
you need to practice and try to push yourself to do something.
I've been doing, you guys don't see it, but I've been doing a lot for myself. Like,
Well,
a
you
lot for
definitely
myself.
can be.
But it doesn't appear that I am. Like I've been
what?
doing a lot. I think this sounds crazy, but the gym, I've been going for walks a lot. Right? You get
good for you.
without headphones, without phones, without being in your own head, which is fucking crazy.
Uh-huh.
It is. It's good.
Which is good. That's huge, and actually brainstorming what I want to do with my life.
How
which
many
I've
of
never
those
thought
did you
about.
go, that was a good run?
I mean, yeah, all of them. Honestly, I don't know if you.
Bad answer.
I don't know.
Bad.
Well, not good
fucking-
run, like comfortable. No, fuck that.
No,
Go ahead.
bad fucking answer.
Okay, go ahead. Explain.
You should, if you have that fucking drive, you got that
Yeah.
dog in you.
I got that
You
dog.
got
Dog
that.
in you.
You got that. Woo, woo.
Yeah, I
You got
got it.
that. You got that Goggins.
I got that.
You
Yeah,
got
I got it
because
in
you
me.
get fucking horned up for that fucking sparkly little head of a Goggins.
I am. I fucking love it.
Yeah, you fucking love that sparkle.
Yeah.
If you had that in your fucking chest,
Fucking got it. I just don't
in
know
that
what to do
chest
with
gap,
it.
no,
Go ahead.
because because you know what would happen if you had that
What?
in your
Go ahead.
chest
Tell
cavity.
me I don't have it. I need this.
Instead of every single run finishing it and like you just admitted,
Go ahead.
saying after every run thinking that
good
was
run.
a good run,
I never thought that. Go ahead.
you think that wasn't a good enough run. Why the fuck didn't I do more? I should have
That's-
done an extra half mile, an extra mile. I
That's
should
good.
have sprinted this bit. But no,
No,
you
no.
just admitted to saying after every run you saw it
Well,
was a good run.
I didn't explain after that. That's
No, you don't need to
no,
explain.
no. That's what I mean.
You don't need to explain. You
Yeah,
already
you
showed
you
it. You
showed
outed
it.
yourself.
That's not what I'm fucking
You
talking
said
about.
enough. You said enough.
No, I've been lifting more at the
So
gym
cover
too.
and move the chapter.
Oh my
fight
god,
now.
this guy's fucking stupid. Fuck.
But do
No.
you lift enough?
For me, fuck, dude.
Exactly.
Okay, yes.
Exactly.
I don't lift.
Boom.
I
You were
lift
just
enough.
gonna say for me, yes.
All right, both you motherfuckers, we're going to the gym, and I'm fucking winning. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, that's
except
cap.
because
You're not winning unless you say it's not enough.
I always tell myself that, but I have no proof because nobody fucking sees it except for me.
Well, then don't go to that shitty gym.
I don't know that. It doesn't have to do with that.
Yeah,
But
sure it does.
no, but I push myself. I always push myself. I always do it a lot. Like, and the gym is the best place for any guy. Any
Okay,
dude.
that's great.
Leg
Yeah.
work, leg.
Yes, I'm doing leg workouts. No, motherfucker, it doesn't look like it because I got to catch up. 30 years. I've been underweight for years. So I got to catch up.
really, your biggest problem is you don't eat enough.
So-
you just said you starved yourself for the past like 3
fucking
days.
food's expensive, dude. So
yeah, but you fucking
but if
can't
I-
die.
Spam's
motherfucker.
not expensive.
know.
Spam's pretty good.
Spam's pretty good too.
Buy
But
a lot of fucking.
no, it was last couple days I just didn't eat that much. I didn't have a lot, and I was like, "Fuck, I could go to the store. I could save a
What's
little
the
bit."
that's
difference
like-
between bologna
but-
and spam?
I don't know. That's a good question. But
It's just
that's like going 5 steps back. If you
I
don't
know.
eat much in one day, that's like 3 steps
What?
back.
I'm not eating. Yeah,
Like that makes
I'm not
sense
doing
for
it
me
to-
because I'm a fat pudgy bitch that fucking needs
But
to
someone
work
that
harder.
needs a fuck ton of
Yeah.
food
Yeah,
and should
I just
gain like 20 pounds.
I'm just so far behind. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Why are you far behind? What do you mean by that?
I would have to eat fucking 5,000 calories a day, and someone else would have to fund that shit because I
no
cannot do that.
Goggins.
I'm not.
The doctor said you can't fucking run again, and he said
He said, "Fuck that."
I'm not fucking listening to that.
Yeah.
You
I
just
will.
went with the impossible. I can't manage to eat that much.
No, I can do
you
that.
decided
Motherfucker, you
it's
give me money.
impossible.
I don't know what the fuck
You
you-
decided the run
That's
was
so
good
much.
enough. You decided
All right, fuck it.
how much you lift is enough.
Running right now.
No, shut up.
We're running right now. My shoes are by the door. Let's go fucking run. All right, not actually. But not actually. I wasn't
not?
actually going to do that.
I got my shorts. I
Okay.
got running shoes.
So, yes, we could.
Why not?
Not wearing the
So,
boots.
I'm going to break some news, though. What's that sound?
You're pregnant?
like
It's
a-
the wind. Anyway.
Motorcycle or something.
So, it's a motorcycle, yeah.
Okay, anyway.
So, so as you guys know, my back is fucked. And this is not an excuse. This is legitimate. Legitimate.
That I'll back you for sure. It's
You'll back his back?
Back my back. Let's just say it's a spineless move of me to do that.
Oh,
But
it's fucked up.
I really started running, and it really started fucking my back. So I don't know if it's bad for it, but it did not feel fucking good.
If you're landing hard on your feet,
is that how you're running?
I adjusted that. I felt good.
Are you running on dirt trail or concrete?
Both. I probably should be running on dirt.
Yeah, concrete ain't got no give. That's how I fucked up my ankles and knees.
Yeah.
I'm not letting that stop me. But running for 7.5 months on a steel ship.
Yeah, that'll fuck.
It's not good on your joints.
Yeah. I just I'll run probably less, but I'll still run. But yeah, I started pushing myself. And I kept going until I literally couldn't walk, and I was like, fuck, I pushed myself, and I could have kept going, but I was like, no.
Well, okay, so to get back to what we're kind of talking about and how you're pushing, if you wanted to show us, and that's not the point, you need to show yourself. You got the dog.
I see.
But if you wanted to show us, you could show us
in your actions.
on how you read the book and your actions with the book and stuff like that. Situations like that. Because first of all, it would show you first, and then it would resonate with us.
Yes, and that. I mean, yes, it makes sense. I'm just not. The older I get, if I'm not into something, I'm really being honest with myself.
I know,
but it's like one of those things where like you said the answer yourself. You're only pushing yourself in the things that we don't see. Why are you stopping with only those things? Why aren't you pushing yourself in everything else? Well, we would see it if you push yourself with this book.
I want to learn
reading with whatever, with upgrading your car, with everything else, but you don't push. We don't see you push yourself with those. You're only pushing yourself with the things you don't show us. Well, so how the fuck are we ever supposed to know?
Yeah.
And that's not a fault of us because we can't be around you 24/7.
Yeah,
it is a fault. Like just like how it's a fault of mine if I would be doing the same thing, which I feel like a lot of times I am doing.
Right.
It's a fault of yourself because you're limiting yourself because you're only pushing yourself in select things instead of all things.
Yeah, I guess not trying everything.
Yeah, you're only selectively pushing yourself.
I mean,
if you are pushing yourself in the gym, why would you not push yourself when you're reading? If you're pushing yourself while you're running, why would you not push yourself when you're working on your car? If you're pushing yourself somewhere else, why would you not be pushing yourself at work?
Everywhere. That's a good point.
If you're pushing yourself in one aspect of your life, you should be pushing yourself in every aspect of your life.
It's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, no, that's a really good point. I think I want to learn about other stuff, and I should bring it to the pod. You know, I want to.
You can.
Yeah.
Stuff. I'm kind of a boring person. Like I like cars. And I want to learn about money. You've
talked about that.
That's all I want. And it's weird.
So if you push yourself, and when we do these pod talks in the middle of the week, which we haven't done in forever, but that's neither here nor there. Right. And you come at us with, here's a link, here's a link, here's a link, here's an article, here's this and that, and here's the information, here's the summary of the links and this and that. We're like, holy fuck, he did his job. We got to go through with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Yeah, because I don't have anything right now. I just feel like no one's really into it as much as I am.
It doesn't matter if we're into it or not. The job...
Yeah. It's the same thing with this book.
Yeah,
we're both into it.
Yeah,
I'm just
but
not
you can be because we're into it.
The job isn't
about money.
Yeah, the job isn't to find something all of us are necessarily going to be interested in.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to find something where one other person is interested in it as much as you.
Yeah.
So the job isn't to find something we're all three interested in. The job is to find something all three of us could be interested in and presenting it. Yeah. So that way all of us can become interested in it.
That's good. It is
this
good.
Book.
It is good. It is. I'm just not a huge fan of this book. It's completely separate. It's not just the book, but yes, I do agree with everything. You know, I want to learn. This is a big learning circle right here. That's what it is.
It's just like
thing. So
all those people that say like rappers say it is where I first heard it, but like I'm never. Who was it? Maybe it was Lil Wayne, but he was saying like I'm never half-assing myself at anything. Maybe that was Drake.
I guess what's the worst? You can go all the way. You know, let's say you be the best you can be.
Yeah,
but with everything you attempt to, no dogs.
My toes, the dogs. The dogs.
The puppies are coming out.
We got to get a T-shirt. Put the dogs away.
That would be pretty funny.
That would be pretty good.
All right, write that down.
Write that down.
Write that down. So yeah, I think pretty much the point of what we're saying, we talk about this almost every episode, but is just having the discipline to go at everything you do in life, like full
100%.
as hard as you can. And obviously, it's easier said than done
I'll
for everybody.
I'll stick that in my head with what Mail said too. Yeah.
Yeah, with everything when it comes to work.
Yeah.
Like where your job is so shitty.
I hate my job.
Hate your job.
It's not.
But it would be so much better if you worked your ass off, and there's no doubt about it.
It
would suck more because your back would
that's
be
the problem.
really shitty, but your mental would be a lot better.
Well, that's the problem though. Is it's just this specific job though. I don't work as hard as I could because my back is really fucked. It's not that my back hurts.
And I believe you, but it's an excuse.
No, not
It
this.
is. It is.
This if I can't
you can't
physically
let anything
stand.
stop you.
But if I can't,
Well,
if
then
I'm in a
do a
wheelchair,
you got to do a different position.
If
I need
David
to sit.
Goggins couldn't run for 8 months,
Yeah,
so instead of running for 8 months, he cycled for 8 months.
yeah.
He just transitioned
That's what I need
from
to.
challenging from himself wholeheartedly from one thing to another thing until he could get back to the other thing.
Just sidestepping, baby.
Yeah, I do think having a different
Position.
job would help me. When I'm sitting down, I'm just not on my feet all the time.
Anything.
But and I'm not gonna lie. The last job I had, I did before I was in the position. Long story. I did really well, and I did put 100%. But yeah, I do feel like, and then another thing is this goes for anyone. You feel you have like that thankless job. Back of your mind, you're like, just let it go. But then you're like, fuck, keep powering through it.
I feel like you're a slave.
Yeah. So is that too? But I see where you're applying it. Like forgetting about like the medical back shit. Whatever I do, whatever anybody does, you do it 100%. What's the worst that can happen?
Right.
You learn too much or you did too much.
And if we can talk about extreme ownership to what we were also talking about in your life, how you were saying like you don't eat enough because it's expensive.
Yeah.
Well, whose fault? I know it's
Go ahead.
the economy's fucked and everything's super expensive. Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. But could you be doing a side hustle to make a little bit more money or something?
Could you be going out of your way to go to Winco instead of Albertsons to find deals?
Yes. Here's the thing. I've always, Mail's not going to believe this, but I've always been I usually don't get upset. I'm a pretty neutral person because I do, my whole life I've actually been pretty good at taking ownership, some things, not everything, of what I did, like what I do. And I know, like I knew the sacrifice. I was like, if I starve, I might lose weight, but fuck it. But I knew it was my fault.
Yeah,
but
you know you were doing.
And honestly, if you guys try it, like, I don't not
starve?
that not starve. Sorry, but like my
What are you
stress.
trying to say something?
I need to lose weight. I do know. I know.
I'm working on it. Come on.
No, you guys are fine. You're good. I'll let you know if you're
No, I need to fucking lose weight. I'm a fat fuck.
No, you're good. I think you lost weight. You definitely lost weight.
Don't matter. I still need to fucking do better.
But I think the way I keep, the older I get, the more I realize I want to keep my stress level down.
Well, that's important.
So the way I keep it down is I'm like, it's probably my fault.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just take ownership, even if it's something that's like, I'm not saying I want to be a bitch like you were talking about the book and everything. I don't want to be like, I guess it's my fault with it. Like, still having the backbone, which I'm working on, to be like, this isn't my fault. But yeah, I guess I've been pretty good at taking ownership, but not with everything. Like you said, I need to go past what I think my limits are on some stuff.
It's like it's more than just taking ownership. It's taking ownership, recognizing that something wrong happened, and then taking action to not let that wrong thing happen again.
Yep.
When you take ownership, like it was my fault that I didn't read this chapter the whole way through before the pod, even though I said I was.
Yep.
You need to take ownership for that and then say, I'm not going to let this happen again because now on Thursday and Saturday, because I have free time, because my work schedule and this and that allows me on those days, I'm going to devote an hour each of those days to read so I know I'm not going to fuck it up. That's the corrective action that you have to pair with the ownership.
Right.
Yeah, I see. Yep.
Just saying it's my fault. That helps to a degree, but it doesn't finish the problem.
One thing that I've been doing too is, like, besides, I know Tanner's going to say something about this, I haven't been watching a lot of TV besides the last 2 episodes of Breaking Bad. Now we're done with that. But that, man,
Tex-Mex Motors on Netflix is great. That's
really
a great car show.
Yeah.
Don't get them started.
Yeah, here's the thing. But that's addicting. But, I used to watch a lot. I used to come home, distraction immediately.
Yeah.
Be distracted.
Yeah, you just want to turn off your brain, be done with the day because you did a whole day's work. You just want to be finished with it.
you don't want to face yourself. You know,
Yeah.
that's anybody. You're like, ah, fuck. You turn off that TV. You're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah. So
It's really hard.
I've been.
All right, so now
reading
chapter
anyways.
5.
So chapter
Cool.
5. You remember when me and him started watching Breaking Bad? It wasn't that long ago, right?
Yeah.
He already finished it.
Yeah. Well, he went on vacation after. I was like, there's no way I can wait a week or whatever.
No, it was 3 days.
3 days. Couldn't wait.
3
I
days.
was
He
like,
couldn't wait
no
3
way.
days.
No
That's
way.
Neither here
that's
nor
our
there. Chapter
friendship.
5.
Unbelievable. The
Yeah.
disrespect.
Well, you need to start watching it though.
It's over.
No, just watch it.
You already finished
Lady
it.
did the same thing to me. I was like, we're gonna watch
The
it together. We
You guys
watched the
need-
first. We watched the first 2 episodes together,
Yep,
and then
same.
didn't spend the night with her one night,
Yeah.
and I come back the next night, and she's like, "Okay,
Season 2.
I'm almost season 2," and I'm like, "Sick. I'm not gonna watch the show anymore."
Yeah.
And she
Same
kept
exact
on
thing
watching it,
happened
and
to
I
me.
would be like, "Okay,
got
cool.
it.
I'm gonna go on YouTube while you watch the show because I'm not gonna join in at season
halfway
2."
through. Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you watch it by yourself too, it's
Doesn't
just as
matter.
fun.
You guys ruined it.
Shit's
I'm not gonna
crazy.
do it.
No,
Yeah,
it's
ruined
so,
it. I'm never
it's
watching that
unlike
show ever
any
again.
show, unlike any show I've seen in my life.
Never
It is
watching
the most unpredictable show.
Never watching it.
That's great. I'm never gonna watch
You
it.
guys have to watch
Same.
it.
Never watching it.
So
chapter 5.
Speaking of watching it, our TV broke.
Nice. Anyway,
Yeah.
chapter 5. Fuck
Yeah.
off.
Well, that's fucking mean.
So
God.
Leaf
We've
Babin.
been trying to go to chapter 5.
We gotta go. We're
so
already
long.
over. We're already over an hour. So,
Oh shit! All right, hurry.
So, cover and move is chapter 5.
Perfect.
First chapter, part 2 of the book. Leaf Babin, kind of transitioning. He had kind of like the latter half of chapter 4, but he's now in chapter 5. I'm gonna butcher the summary,
Okay, that's fine.
so I'm gonna let you do it. This one I know a lot more. I had more notes on versus chapter 4, but I'm still gonna let you do the summary, and I'll talk about what I liked and.
All right, so
good stuff.
Leaf Babin, military story. He was one of the platoon leaders for this mission. So the whole idea was like Army or Marine Corps units or something like that. We're going to do these patrols. And then
Right.
they asked the SEALs to have sniper overwatch positions, which happens in every operation. So basically, like, those snipers can see something happening like half a mile ahead of the convoy and start assessing it, seeing if it's too much, or end it by doing sniper shit before the convoy gets there or the patrol gets there. So that way it's further protection for the patrol, essentially. Like fixing issues before they arise by seeing them happen before they get there, which is really important, really great. So there was 2 platoons, this and that. This, he kind of got in the weeds, to be honest with you, on this one. So like
This story?
yeah,
Or-
platoon 1 was sniper platoon 1 is in this building. He was with sniper platoon 2.
Yeah.
So platoon was like, they were having this like problem of like this building or that building because there were problems and this and that and blah blah blah.
They were
But
trying to
he
figure
was
out which building to
he was
stay in.
taking humility, checking his ego, listening to his enlisted personnel and having their opinions instead of just being a dictator and saying, I see this, this is what goes. He was checking his ego at the door, getting opinions from everywhere, including
that,
everybody, and then finish up the mission, this and that. Finishes really early in the day, like 9 a.m. or something like that. Normal standard operating procedure for Task Force Bruiser was wait till nightfall because at night, largely because of like a religion thing, I think, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Is things don't happen until morning prayer.
Don't they at the sunrise? They were like yelling and shit.
Yeah, the prayer. They don't
Oh,
yell.
yeah. Oh,
It's prayer. Don't be
fault.
disrespectful.
well, I thought they were.
Morning prayer. Things don't happen before morning prayer, and then after evening prayer, things don't really happen either.
I know. I was gonna say it. I was trying not to.
What?
I pointed at Allah Akbar. That's what he was referring to.
Oh,
Yeah. I was hoping someone would bring it up. I was like,
isn't Allah Akbar just praise God?
Yes.
I think
In
so,
Arabic?
yeah,
Yeah.
followed
That's what
by
it
a
is.
different. Never mind. Good.
Okay.
Continue. I
Anyway.
don't want to talk about it.
Oh my God.
So they had to wait till nightfall
Yeah,
because
that's the standard operating procedure.
Yep.
These guys decide that, you know what, it's 9 a.m. They did actively shoot at insurgents to protect the patrol. So, and that's also a thing in urban areas where it's really bad, where everyone's around, so everyone hears every gunshot. So after you take 2 shots, it's up.
All hell
The jig
breaks
is
loose.
up.
Oh man.
The
Yeah.
jig is up. They know where the fuck you are. It's not like
It's a
you're
battlefield at that
a
point.
super secret squirrely
No.
sniper anymore. They're like, You are in the 3rd-story building.
Yeah, it's scary.
At the top. Fuck you. We're gonna shoot.
Do they have suppressors and everything? You think?
Sir, yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah, of course.
yes. But
guess
that
they don't
doesn't
wanna
change.
be.
It doesn't change the fact that everyone is around
Still
you,
loud.
and still like 308 Lapua around going through a suppressor is still going to be fucking loud.
Yeah, still
loud enough to where the building next door still knows that you shot a gun.
Yeah, they're like,
No doubt about that.
So
So it can only be so quiet. Yeah.
yeah, you can only be so quiet. It helps, but it only helps so much. So after the 2nd round, you know where you are. They start shooting at your position. So they were like, okay, we are going to have to defend ourselves, and it's going to be really, really bad for the next 12 hours if we stay here like the standard operating procedures say, or we can go back. They opt to go back. They're doing this thing called cover and bound, standard military practice, where dude sets up here, surveys the area, sets up a security position doing that by able to protect everybody else, and like they'll go half a block up the street to another position where they can defend. And then once everybody but the last couple of guys are there, they start doing it, and the last couple of guys do there, and it's kind of like a leapfrog. They do that all the way back.
I see. Mm-hmm.
And whatnot.
Is it cover and bound? Well, the title is cover and move, but
Cover and move, it's same thing.
same thing. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, I was just making sure.
I guess I'm just saying that because I always heard it while I was in the Marines as cover and bound.
Cover and bound.
Cover and bound. Wow.
So yeah, like it was like a thing in the boot camp where it was like bounding.
While you're on that point,
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about one thing I highlighted or pointed out was was pretty much the coordinated tactic where 2 columns systematically alternated shooting at the enemy while moving away in a safe direction until able to break contact.
There you go.
The way it's described in that sentence made it so easy for me to visualize.
Yeah.
Just like someone taking shots while someone getting farther, and then the other one shooting, and then
So
taking
yeah,
farther,
to put it in like Tanner people terms, Call of Duty.
Terms.
When you're Call of Dutying and it was your first time ever playing Nuketown with your friends or something like that, or you were playing like
way back,
something like that, you would set up on the backyard, and some dude would watch the whole backyard and that doorway in the house, and you would stay there. Your buddy would go around the outside and tell you on your fucking remote control fucking headset thing. That's the word. Hey, the front of the house is clear. You can come around the back and side, and then you go around the side, and now you're in the center area, and you're looking for guys, and you do that. That's cover and bounding.
Okay.
But then and then the second guy who just walked around safe now covers for the first guy, right?
Yeah. So first guy. So yeah, you're covering for the first guy watching the backyard. First guy makes it to his position. Now he tells you you're good to go. So now first guy is defending you as you get to the same position as first guy.
So yeah, it's just leapfrog.
So, yeah, it's bam, 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 leapfrog.
See.
That's what they were doing. Made it all the way back to their fob. Get to the fob, fucking dude that has a lot of fucking brass or a lot of fucking weight on his chest because he's done a lot of deployments.
Crazy respectable.
Dude tears into leaf and says, "What the fuck were you thinking?"
Damn.
And he was like, "What do you mean? I was cover and bound. This and that. I was doing everything right, and this and that. Standard operating procedure said this, but like we looked at the situation, we said this, so we did this."
Also, it was like the least what he was talking about. He went through so many different scenarios of what he could have chosen to do.
Yeah.
And he chose to do that option, so he was like thinking it was the best, worst option, like the best terrible. It's
like you had this, and this.
Yeah.
They decided to do this, and he was like, "That was a great decision."
So he
that
wasn't
you came back.
expecting the smoke.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting the smoke. He was like, "We well thought. We looked at the situation. We took every factor in, and this and that, and blah blah blah." But he didn't, because he was only looking at a micro. He was only looking at a small little group and saying, "What about the small little group?" When there was a second sniper platoon that was out, and they just decided, instead of including them in this cover and bound, they decided they're just going to do it solo, which is way more risky. When in hindsight, they should have had both teams, because then you would have 13 people protecting 13 people instead of one dude or two dudes protecting 6 dudes.
Right.
One or two dudes can't do too much in all reality. They can like suppress some fire until everyone gets to a situation, and then everyone needs to regroup really, really quick for something good to happen.
Right.
But when it's 13 dudes solely defending at a time, they can squash anything really, really quick. So he was like, "Why the fuck didn't you do that?" So it was basically like a lesson of macro. You need to look at the big picture. And
you got so like a, oh god, the word's escaping me, but he got so focused on his team,
Zoomed in.
So he got
Zoomed
so
in.
focused on that he couldn't see outside of it.
Yeah, he was micro. He was doing micro instead of macro.
He totally didn't think of like
The
Jocko's team and all that at all.
Yeah. And then business one was saying there's this big jumbo company, and the big jumbo company has this. So it's like a manufacturer in the big jumbo company, and then a second company that is controlled by this company is a distributor. So builder, distributor, they think that they are like working at odds with each other because it's like there's each company is their company, and they just have to work together because they're under the same parent company. But in all reality, and Leaf helped them realize this, it's like, no, you two are still the same team. Like, distributor doesn't work without something to distribute, and manufacturer doesn't work unless there's someone to distribute the manufactured goods. So you guys need to work together and be a team, and like they co-work together and basically cover and bound each other. Like, distributor was like, hey, we can do this, but we can't do this. Manufacturer's like, sweet, if you can't do that, but we can do this, then that fixes that. So now we're working together. So now more deliveries are happening. So you guys are getting more for distribution, and we're getting to have more product get sent out. So now we get to have more product sales because it's being distributed more.
Yeah, but
so now everybody is winning because now we're working together instead of working at odds. Like we're each an individual entity forced to work together.
This was one of the ones where
I
think the most interesting how he was going to apply this to the business one.
Mm-hmm.
After I read the story, I'm like, how's he going to swing this? And
right,
did a good job. It wasn't as like exact as like other ones, but it's almost hard to be
it's
exact.
a nuance.
It's a nuance, yeah. So, kind of the point
that forced us to go on that tangent.
Right,
the nuance.
right, too. Part 2 and everything. So, yeah, another great chapter, of course.
It takes extreme ownership. It takes humility.
Yeah, this one was...
And it takes a good leader to do this because a good leader, no bad teams. So it's like collecting all of what we learned in part 1, and putting into this because you have to have ownership of your fault. When Leaf could have been like, blew that dude off and said, I didn't fuck up. Right. He wouldn't be taking ownership. Nothing would have happened.
Everybody survived. It was sick.
Yeah,
it was
so
baller.
You could have been flipping birds and saying "fuck off." It managed. So, but no, he had extreme ownership. So he checked his ego and took a listening in on it. He fucking, and then in the business sense, like he was helping explain from company to company. So good leaders, not bad teams, and stuff like that. So it was like collection of all of it into one.
Yeah. So I think the lesson in this chapter was really interesting, just because it was. I guess I don't know if this is the right way to put it, but it almost was like less common sense to the other ones, right?
Yeah.
The other ones were like more like straightforward and simple, right? Like, yes, I've obviously heard of this and stuff, and these are all fantastic points that I need to. But this one was like, oh, like I've never kind of thought of it this way, kind of thing. So
I can relate with that.
So I think this chapter did a really good job of kind of opening up a little bit more new stuff than I think you wouldn't expect. So
yeah. It's mixing it all together.
Right. No, I know. It did it because, man, when I was kind of putting myself in his shoes in the military story, I was like, yeah, he did the right thing. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's like in a micro sense,
right,
1,000%, because you still, even with the macro story, you still would have had to done exactly what he did for it to pull off. So he did do the right thing. It's not that he didn't do the wrong thing. He, as a holistic point, he did something wrong. But in a micro sense, he did it perfect.
Right. He did it as good as he could.
Yeah.
For that scenario.
For that situation, in a micro sense, he did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Right.
But for a macro sense, he could have done better.
And the last thing I have notes-wise for the chapter is kind of like it's kind of all of part 1, kind of like that's what kind of part 2 is going to be like, as we've seen in this chapter. And I was kind of figured that out when I read this. I was like, oh, that's like the first or second chapter of the no bad teams, only bad leaders chapter, was when it says if the overall team fails, everyone fails. Even if a specific member or element within the team did their job successfully, pointing fingers and placing blame on others contributes to further dissension between teams and individuals. And I was like,
perfect.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool.
I was like, when I read that, I'm like, boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
So
put a bow on it.
Exactly. So that was the
Dilly,
biggest thing I took away from
takeaways. Looking at the photo,
Yeah, I'm looking at this photo.
liking the pictures.
Chapter 6.
pictures.
I
Big
like
photo guy.
pictures.
Picture book.
Yeah, that was me when I was young. Not just the pictures. Or now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as much as I pick on this book, I could say it's, or as much as I talk to you guys, it seems like a defense mechanism. Yeah, it's natural.
Yeah,
but it's a good book.
It is.
Even though I can't relate to the specific stories.
of course.
Yeah.
Almost even
Yeah.
male who served in the military
Yeah.
I can't
fully
relate.
fully relate to
I
these
wasn't.
stories. Are you
I
kidding
wasn't infantry.
Yeah.
I was not infantry.
99.999% of people that read this book can't relate.
Yeah,
That's-
cover
so that's
and
not the
bound.
point.
I did that in like training things, and we literally thought of it as a joke. Like we were like, "You're really gonna make me a fucking armorer do
Yeah,
that?"
'cause it's
like
like,
I'm not fucking infantry, bro. So yeah, like I can't relate to
Yeah.
most of the fucking experiences they're talking about.
Right.
I just can understand it and translate it into my own life.
In real life, yeah.
Yep, and it is pretty
That's
cool.
the point.
I mean, it is pretty cool hearing.
It's like a diction. It's like a Spanish to English dictionary. It's
Yeah.
You're translating it into something that you can comprehend.
Yep,
Funny way to look at it, yeah.
and it is pretty cool seeing the inside scoop, because I don't know if there's a lot. I mean, I'm not going to say there's not a lot of books similar, but this is probably the only book of its kind that takes, it's
There's
really
a
an
lot of
inside.
leadership books, but this one,
Yeah. This is an inside scoop of usually the people that you'd think are just tough guys, tough guys, big
Yeah.
egos, blah blah. But
But no, there's a lot of thought.
there's a lot of thought that
Oh,
goes
man,
into
there has to be.
all this
Yeah.
stuff.
That's the point. There has to
Yep.
be. There's no other choice. So,
And this is how they do
like
it.
in
yeah.
chapter 4
It's
with
really cool.
the ego guy that was like, yeah, no, I don't give a shit about this. I'm not going to tell you this. We're big baller fucking guys. We're not going to tell you, but
Yeah,
it has to be the other way.
Yeah.
You have to have so much
work
thought
together.
to talk about it. So, and work together. So,
cool.
um,
So yeah, no, it's
Thanks.
pretty good.
So
Keep
another
chugging
good
along.
one.
I like that chapter, not the most, because I thought
Yeah.
part 1 was fantastic. All the chapters, all 4 chapters. of
Yeah,
part 1
but
were
yeah,
great.
chapter 5, I definitely would say
But I like the bit of difference.
it
in
was a
part
good
2.
difference. But I mean, like I said while I was doing the
Still
summary,
very
I was
similar,
like,
but-
if there was a chapter that I would say they got into the weeds, and they could have cut a little bit of the fucking grit off of it, and like
it was chapter 5.
it was chapter 5, like him talking about like, do we do this or do we do that with the different buildings?
Yeah,
I'm like,
that stretched on. I was like, damn,
Like-
I read 3 pages of all different scenarios that you did.
yeah, it's like it's cool that you're
I got
including that,
immersed.
and
I
I
did get
understand that,
immersed.
and it's a needed immersion. But I feel like you could have shortened down because
Definitely.
in the holistic sense, like this building or that building didn't provide as much. It did, but it didn't provide as much to the principle
wasn't
of the
exactly
chapter.
necessary. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you can just see it as the military story and principle was like 80-90% of the chapter.
Yeah.
Lengthwise, because
Yep.
the application to business was straight to the point.
yeah,
And
straight.
it was like
yeah.
3 pages long. So
Yeah.
it was.
But it's still a great chapter. Don't get me wrong. It is
No,
a
it's
great
a great
chapter. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it
if there
was.
was one that I was like, you could have maybe a tweet.
The lesson was.
But I haven't written a book, so who am
Ain't
I
that
to
the
say?
truth? That's so hard. Yeah, I can only imagine. Hard enough reading it. So no.
Shit.
No, but I think it did a good job because I didn't get the lesson right away. Every other chapter so far, I've gotten it right away, which is great. But it just hammers it every other chapter. This one, it was like I read everything and I'm like, right at the end I got it.
Definitely.
you're
And
like,
I was like, okay, nice, which I kind of liked because it was a little different. So
Yeah, they kind of M. Night Shyamalan you, where it was like, oh,
Yeah.
I get it at the end.
Exactly. So
Kind of have to
Definitely.
reread it, so now I can kind of understand what you were saying before.
right, but it does a good job where you almost don't need to do that because
Yeah.
I followed along the whole time and then it all came together. So
True.
I think it is pretty cool how they design books like this too, because
man, lots
you
of
could be
work,
like,
lots of
"Ooh."
people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, some smart people.
Lots of thought to go into
Because
it.
these are Jocko and Leaf, obviously extremely smart guys. But when it comes to writing, I'm sure
They had some help.
Had some serious smart people help them. Yeah. So it's crazy.
All right. So
cool.
Next episode is going to be chapter 6 and 7.
6 and 7.
Look forward to that. But let's do a couple of short little topics.
Yeah, we'll just do a couple. We're at almost an hour and a half.
Did you guys see what I put on the docket?
I did not.
I didn't have service. I could have looked at it today, but I didn't.
So first thing, I'm putting out a plea.
Shut up. Putting out a plea.
I'm putting out a plea. I'm putting out a prayer.
Oh no.
I'm asking
it's for me.
For it to be the sorrows to be ripped out of the depths of the ocean,
so this could be good.
Brought back to life because it's
submarine.
Deserved. No, what the fuck?
My fault. Go ahead.
Come on, dude. Too soon. No, I'm kidding.
I thought, hey, my fault. You know, they went down. I'm sorry. I could just go on.
Nobody cares.
Let's just say it.
It's over.
Yeah. Well, it was. Yeah.
All right.
Titanic added bodies.
Asking. This is a public
years later.
request that I need. The Colorado Rockies haven't been good since 2007.
Yep.
When they went to the World Series
Rocktober.
And got fucking smacked sideways by the Red Sox.
Yep.
Wasn't that the series that broke the Red Sox curse?
I think it might have been, yeah.
I think it was.
Of course,
it had to have been something.
Had to be us.
Yeah, it had to be us, of course. But we had Nolan Arenado.
We did. We don't.
He's so great.
Fantastic.
Gone. He did a couple of contracts and said, "I'm fucking done with this. I've given you guys enough time."
He tried.
He tried to make Colorado a success story.
Yeah, he tried.
We had Trevor fucking Story.
That one was the craziest
Mr. fucking Storybook.
That I think was the craziest one because his first 2 years in the league were like he
shattered
all the
fucking
records.
Storybook.
Yes.
It was amazing.
It was insane.
It was like the second coming of...
that's our franchise player that's going to lead us to success.
It was like the second coming of Todd Helton because Todd Helton was breaking all of the fucking
and then after his
home
fourth
runs.
year, they're like, we'll send you off to Boston. Like,
he chose that, but I think...
Yeah, true. He wanted the money. But
yeah. So he went for the money. He saw what Nolan did, and he was like, I'm not doing a second contract to see if they pull something off. Right. I'm not even going to do that.
Well, with that ownership.
Yeah. So now we got Charlie Blackmon. Long ago were the days of Todd Helton, Matt Holliday.
There he is.
That beast.
There.
Troy Tulowitzki, even though, Dexter Fowler.
Oh, jeez, Dexter.
Good old Dexter.
That's hard.
He won the World Series with the Cubs.
with the Cubbies. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Good
really,
for him.
yeah, I was like, oh, look at you, buddy.
Right.
You're doing good.
I know, that was awesome.
Proud of you. Long of the days. For so long, we have been dog water.
We've been dog for a long time.
In the fucking world of baseball for the Colorado sport.
Very bad.
It's been so fucking bad.
So
for such a great institution. You love to go to Coors Field. Every single time you go to Coors Field, you're like, this pantheon
it is beautiful.
Devoted to the greatness of baseball deserves championship success.
It's a beautiful stadium.
Or even the threat of championship success. They deserve it.
I don't think Dilly
Seeing
thinks that
the
when he goes
golden
there,
fucking clouds.
Things pretty neat.
Seeing the golden clouds above your head as the last licks of sunlight go down under the Rockies while you're in the 8th inning and just praying for it. You know what you're fucking wanting is a success story.
You really are.
You know what fucking happened?
8-hour game is unbelievable.
Chipotle or Qdoba?
Well, no, they changed it with the time clocks now. So now it's about like a 2:45, 2:30-minute game.
Still too long for Dilly.
It's a feature-length film.
Time. They got hot dogs? Sorry.
You know what happened this past week? There was a series against the Los Angeles Angels or the Anaheim Angels.
Can I say it real quick?
Yep.
I don't want to spoil where you're going.
They don't have hot dogs.
But
they do.
It's a baseball game. Are you kidding me?
My fault. I know they got baseballs.
Shut up.
They won the series.
Yes, they won the series.
2-1.
Rocky?
2-1.
Yeah, against the Angels.
It doesn't even fucking matter
because we lost the one game we lost.
25-1.
We lost 25-1.
We gave up 13 runs in a single inning. 13 in a single inning.
That's ridiculous. That's baseball. You know how hard it is to score baseball? They scored 25 runs in baseball.
Oh my god!
And we still won the series, baby.
We still won the series, but we are fucking
Colorado's
dog shit.
Back. Oh.
No, we lost by 24 in the game. I don't know if we're coming back.
We're not.
But we still won the series, though, right?
We did win the series.
It don't matter, dude. It don't matter if you win the next 13 straight games. You're still the team that lost by 20-4.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That's awful.
So I'm putting out a fucking public plea Because
They could have stayed.
Colorado has been Titletown in recent history.
For the last
and there
couple
is
years, yep.
one individual that you can point to say, you are the reason why Colorado cannot kill themselves. Because we still see success. Stan fucking Kroenke.
Stan Kroenke, baby.
Hey,
What does he own? He owns
The Rams.
the Los Angeles Rams. Have they won in the last 5 years? Fuck yeah, they have.
Yeah, 3 years ago. 2
Yeah.
years ago.
That guy's.
Two
Two years
Super
ago.
Bowls Yep.
They win. He owns the Colorado Avalanche.
Sorry.
Did they win in the past 5 years? Oh,
Last
shit,
year.
they fucking did.
Wow.
Oh, he owns the Denver Nuggets. Did they win in the last 5 years? Oh shit, they
Last
won
month.
like last month.
The
He
Colorado
won.
Mammoth.
He won the Mammoth. When did they win? Oh, the same time as the Avalanche.
Yeah,
But he
last
needs
year.
to-
He is Mr. Titletown.
Yep.
But he needs a bigger bank account.
He doesn't own an MLB team. Buy the fucking Rockies, dude.
Oh, yeah,
you
dude.
own 3 Colorado sports franchises. You own
Sell
Ball
the
Arena.
Rams, buy
Just
the Rockies.
fucking buy the Rockies, dude.
Yep.
Sell the Rams or not sell the Rams. I don't care if you really love football, but it is kind of your like fucking
It'd be
prodigals.
gangster if you own
It's your
all-
kind of prodigal son because it's off in LA and you don't like that. So
Right.
everything's in Colorado. Get the fucking Rockies. Save the Rockies organization, please, to fucking God.
That would be pretty cool. if he owned-
Please.
That's what they're
And
going to need, yeah.
now, segueing it over to Dilly in Dilly Talk Sports this week. What do you have to say?
Philly sports talk.
Dilly's a big sports guy this week.
Yeah, I saw there's this one thing, this sport with the goal.
NASCAR. Right.
Yeah.
9,000 RPMs. What do you think?
Oh, NASCAR. They went around the track.
What'd you do, NASCAR?
Well, they did have food. I went there.
You went NASCAR?
All right, thank you for
Nachos.
this week in Dilly Talk Sports. All right. Dude.
You guys are going, speaking of baseball, you guys might be going to a baseball game.
Yeah, we're going to the baseball game. Boise
I'm
Hawks.
actually, I'm kind of
this
upset. I
Saturday.
really wanted to go. We can go again sometime.
Yeah.
I really
Boise
want to
Haw-
see a game. So
Yeah, Boise Hawks. So that'll be fun.
So
will be
cat.
fun.
Yeah.
What?
We're right behind.
I was really looking forward to
We're
it.
behind home plate, so that's pretty cool.
Sports.
What? Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
behind
come
home
on.
plate. We're not like front row behind home plate,
That
but
was-
we're
that's-
still behind home plate. So that's pretty sweet.
That's cool. It'll be fun.
It'll be a good
Yeah.
spot for you to teach Dilly all the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, so
Hopefully
it's
and
just
for
so much
Dilly to
fun.
look
smack
at-
with the ball.
But dude, when I
everything
saw
else.
that fucking 25-1, yeah, I was like, please to
I
God, Stan Kroenke, please buy
That
it.
was so funny.
Save us. And also, it instantly shot me back to fucking my rec league
Oh,
baseball
boy.
days because the last
Those
year,
were the days.
the last year that I did it, which was like the oldest age you could be and do
Right.
it,
Right, whatever. That
was also the year that they were like, okay, no more coaches pitching. It has to be the kids pitching. And so
I have a
they were
great
like,
story that I'll talk about after this.
okay. So
Very
I was,
similar.
so yeah, so we did practice and they like tried everyone out at pitcher to see who was good. I murdered. I was so good in practice. Absolutely fucking killed it. They told me I had to fucking stop pitching because now we had to actually let kids start hitting the ball to practice batting.
Right.
Because I was striking out every single kid on my team.
Jeez.
It got to the
dude.
point where coaches and the other dads and everything went up to my dad and they were like, you should really practice him on this because he's left-handed. And if he can do
Right.
that, like he could actually go somewhere and he might go to college for free if he can pitch like that.
Okay.
Like at 11 years old or 10 years old or whatever the fuck I was.
So how'd that turn out?
They pitched me in the game.
Okay.
Fuck.
I threw a ball every single time. I walked the
No.
whole entire opposing team. It got to the point where the fucking umpire came to me and he was like, just slow it fucking down.
Right.
Do this.
Just trying
do
to throw
that,
it over the plate, baby.
Overachiever.
do this and that, blah, blah, blah.
No, it's-
No, it wasn't overachieving. I just
No,
sucked
underachieving.
absolute.
Oh, underachieving.
I sucked absolute dog water. It was so bad.
Oh.
I was just standing on that mound, and it's so bad.
That's so sad.
Like, it was like one of those things where, because it was such a high, like, my whole team was like, Nick's our pitcher, Nick's our
Let's
pitcher.
go. We found
And-
him. The glory.
Yeah, it's like, he's
the
our
golden
guy.
glove, John.
He's our guy. And like, dads are going to my dad and being like, he's got something. He's got something. He's got something. And then
Sign
we
him
get
up.
to the Saturday game in 3 days later, and I just throw ball after ball after ball after ball after ball.
Just
and
nerves,
I'm
you
just,
think? Or
I don't know what the fuck it
Yeah.
was. I was like, I wasn't
Off
even.
day.
I
Damn.
guarantee I wasn't even 12 years old.
WD-40
Probably
for the
just
shoulders.
shitting yourself.
So
Yeah.
I was just like,
Need a
I have
little
no
oil.
clue.
Yeah. little
I
lubrication.
guarantee the practice was probably just luck,
That
if
could be it.
anything.
Dang.
And I
Maybe
just,
they were just swinging at everything and it was everything was balls, but they just were swinging at everything in practice. That's why you were striking them out.
I don't know, but all I know was that I didn't know what suicide was before then.
Feel that.
But
It's crazy when you get older.
I did not see that coming.
Everyone's got a moment like that.
We'll go at.
I could do that.
We'll go at 10
that's
years.
right. No,
We'll
I
go at
understand.
10 years
Get out
old.
of this.
We'll go at 10 years old. We'll say I was 10 years old. I didn't know what suicide was, but on that pitching mound, I figured out what suicide was, and I really, really entertained that thought. I was like, that's a really good idea. That is
Jesus
such a good
Christ.
idea. If I just end my life right now, I don't have to pitch anymore. And that's the best option.
All you were fucking thinking about it was.
That's it. Right when that happened.
Dude, I wanted to die and just go in the...
I feel like I'm out of my mind. I don't wanna be alive.
Oh my god.
I can't throw a ball. Just want to die.
Dude, like, I guarantee you it would have been
That's
different if
terrible.
the practice
Call
wasn't
that
so
number.
good.
Let's say
Think
that's-
about that. Yeah.
If the practice
Mind-blowing.
didn't go so well, I would have not had that. But dude, just absolute, just suicide on the mind, murder,
Yeah.
Okay. So
Got
I'm gonna
murder
lighten
on my
every-
mind.
preteen suicide.
I'm gonna lighten everything up with my
Nonstop.
story. I'm gonna take
Okay.
it totally. I'm gonna 180 this.
But if that was me at like 10 years old, imagine what that fucking 28-year-old pitcher in national television
They
was
gave up
thinking.
13 runs in one inning.
One
yeah.
inning.
12-year-old commits suicide.
So
at this moment.
okay.
I'm sorry.
We please seek help if you think those thoughts.
Yeah.
Seriously, please call that number.
kidding.
Dude,
on
but
that,
I
that song.
instantly was like, when
All
I
jokes
saw that
aside, yeah.
score, I just shot straight back to fucking rec league fucking baseball, and I was
you
like,
just had like Vietnam flashbacks.
like, oh no, ball.
No, so many balls.
All jokes aside, yeah.
So when I was in my final year of what it wasn't, I think it was competitive, but it was like for the league, and you had to like go to like a bigger town because
Yeah.
we played in like Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So it was like once you reach a certain age, it was only for like 12-year-olds and below, and then once you had to go like actually like serious professional teams and stuff.
Yeah,
Professional,
none of that pussy
quote
shit.
unquote, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it was. I remember it being my second to last year. We played in the tournament and we got second. I was so
Nice, dude.
heartbroken.
Oh.
First loser. Remember
It's not
2
even-
chapters
it's not
ago
even-
we talked about this. First loser, second place.
90%, dude.
So
an
I
A.
remember being heartbroken because
Yeah,
I only
that's
care about winning.
Yeah.
So
in the blood.
I remember listening to like what was it? Boulevard of Broken Dreams, or
Yeah, Green Day, Boulevard
Yeah.
of Broken
Get
Dreams.
I remember
Judged
listening to
by
that
the
on
timeline.
repeat after we lost. But then we came back my final year. We ended up making it all the way back to the final, the championship game against the same team. And I made my mom go to the stadium I knew we were playing at. I knew, like, you know how like when you go to baseball fields, there's like 10 of them and there's like letters for each one. I knew what letter we were playing on for the championship game.
Cool. Yeah.
Because it was like the biggest stands or whatever. Not that it was a lot, but it probably fit like 100 people.
Yeah,
maybe.
100, 150,
something like
whatever.
that.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting and going and sitting at home plate, like manifesting. I was like, we're winning this fucking game.
That's so sick, though.
I made my mom take me the day before, and I sat at home plate and I envisioned winning the game. I don't think I probably got a hit, but we won the game.
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
man.
And
That's
we won the
fucking sick.
championship in
That's
my
the
final
shit.
year.
That's like some
final
fucking-
year ever playing baseball.
That's some like major leagues shit.
right.
It's sick,
yeah,
though.
That's a
exactly.
great movie. Major Leagues, great movie.
Yes, true.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, though.
It was cool because I remember just going there and my mom probably looking at me like, this motherfucker crazy.
What? Why don't you ever join? I know this is more of an off-pod kind of thing, but you can join, like... this
Yeah,
is like,
beer
Sports
league.
leagues?
Yeah,
Sports leagues,
like
yeah.
Lady does
love
just
it.
the city adult volleyball
Yeah, that's
thing.
right.
Yeah, you would
Right,
love it.
She's
'cause
talked about that.
Yeah.
You love winning. Like,
Yeah,
you
we should-
literally bleed.
yeah, we should
You'd be like,
join a
Love
fucking-
competition.
Yeah, we should join a
Love
fucking
competition.
yeah, like a beer league softball team or something.
It'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Like, even I would
any
like-
sport, really.
Yeah.
Basketball, hockey.
Yeah,
would be sick.
Speaking of hockey, last topic and then we're done.
Yep.
Okay, real
because it's
quick.
hot.
Yeah.
It's hot in here.
Yeah, it's getting warm.
Is it?
It is.
Okay,
getting
maybe in
I'm
that corner.
sweating.
I'm not feeling too bad. Maybe it's because I was in a camper that was a
Big.
microwave
I don't know.
for
Anyway.
the past 2 days. 3
Sweating.
days.
Hockey.
Yeah.
NHL. New Jersey rule. What do you think of it?
What was it? You got a new rule? I didn't know New Jersey mattered.
There's no way I know everything that comes to NHL.
The new NHL jersey rule, you don't know that one?
Oh.
What a fucking
Did it just happen?
Yeah, it happened this past week.
Well, I had no service.
That's
the only way I
excuses.
That's the only way I wouldn't know.
All right, so sum it up.
Maybe I've heard it.
Yeah,
and
so
you have to remind
it was
me.
pretty much the writing was on the wall for this one. Kind of.
Oh, is it the ads?
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
No.
That's what I thought.
No. It's event jerseys.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
So
no
this past
military
season,
or pride jerseys.
yeah. So this past season, they were doing Pride nights, and
past like 3 or 4 years.
well, yeah, but this past season was the big one because players started saying it goes against my religious views.
I'm not.
The team can fucking do it, whatever, but I'm not
it.
participating in that. I'm not going to wear it. I'm going to wear my regular jersey.
Sum it
and
up for
that's
Dilly
it.
real quick.
The
Before
pride
for
thing.
warm up jerseys, they would wear like rainbow jerseys. Like
Yeah, because it would be like
before the game
Pride
would
night,
start.
the Pride night game, or this game, or that game.
Military
so
game
They
or
would
whatever.
not. They wouldn't wear it during the game necessarily, but they like
right.
warm ups.
Just before.
Yeah,
fine,
before
I
they would
guess.
have a certain like
No,
a
it's
rainbow
not.
jersey
I don't
or
know.
a breast
Yeah.
cancer jersey or a military jersey.
All those are good.
Yeah, and then they would switch back to their normal jerseys for the game, but they would wear that. So like certain guys would just not wear the Pride jersey because they were like, no, it goes against my faith.
Yeah.
Super reasonable.
Very
Yeah,
reasonable.
Yeah, and fair.
Just as much as if it was the other way. That's the kind of argument I've said. I'm like, how about they give the option to anybody that wants to, but it's not like a night.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
if you want to wear it on these certain games, you
That should
can,
be.
but no one
Yeah.
has to or whatever.
And just like if someone was like anti-military and they didn't want to wear the military oppression one because like whatever.
Right,
It's
whatever.
like be your person.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So the NHL had this new rule and they were like they went of the okay, if no one person can't have it, nobody can have it.
Right.
Kind of thing. So instead of just saying no Pride Night jerseys anymore, they said new rule, no special event jerseys whatsoever.
At
so
all, yeah.
there is no longer any Pride Night jerseys. There is no longer any military appreciation. There is no longer breast cancer awareness. There's no, which is a very common one. Like every major league has a breast cancer awareness.
that was
thing.
like the most popular one, yeah.
Yeah. And like there's always other ones. Like they might do like a St. Jude's night or a
Father's Day or Mother's
Father's Day or a whatever
Yeah.
kind of thing. Or if there's like some like Colorado Day, the Avs might have a event jersey for that. Whatever. Now, no event jerseys whatsoever.
They're just scratching them all.
And the password people still are really mad. They're like, this is a hypocrisy. This is fucked up. And I'm like, honestly, this is like the best case thing. I think this is the best thing.
Go somewhere else.
You say go somewhere else and you shove a microphone in her face. What the fuck?
You got anything to say?
Tell me about how you feel.
Yeah.
Or sure about that?
She's going to smack it.
Oh, okay. Anyway. So, yeah, I was like.
How do you
this-
feel about it?
I think that was the best choice.
Yeah.
Like, also, I'm a Marine. Like,
So the military nights,
yeah, and I'm like,
we're
I'm-
cool and stuff. But
and they were fun. And I'm like, it's gone, and I don't get appreciation, and I don't care.
right, because the only appreciation we really need for all of those things, guess what? It's the national anthem that we sing before the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all of those appreciations for everything, whether it's Pride, military,
Yep.
Father's Day, all that, all the holidays, all that stuff.
Exactly.
It's
That's
all
what
in the
it's all
national
about.
anthem. That's
what
what
it's all about.
That's
It's all encompassing.
exactly.
Yeah, so it's like, who the fuck cares?
all you
But
need.
then people are still mad. They're like, yeah, no. And it's like, no one is getting a pedestal. So how are you mad? Why are you saying this is oppression
Yeah.
when literally no one else? How can you? What
Isn't
is
that
the
equality?
Yeah,
Right.
like what is
That's
the?
equality, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like what is the definition of oppression? Because how are you oppressed if no one else gets it either?
Yeah.
Like
it's
what
true.
the fuck? Like why are like what other option could we possibly have done?
Yeah. No, I think it was the only way, business wise, and for as big of a platform as they have, it was the only way.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah, it was the only way because the only other thing is for them to ignore it and say, okay, it is optional. You can do it. Players can elect to participate
then
or not elect.
People
but
would
then,
go nuts.
Exactly. Just like this past season when guys elected to say, I'm not going to fucking do it. Now that's a bigger story than the actual event, which is just like how like a few years ago when it was the Colin Kaepernick kneeling
Right.
during the national
yeah.
anthem. It was the big thing because they elected not to participate in the national anthem.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's like now, like if you choose an option, which it's like you can't, because an impossible option is to say everyone has to participate, because that legitimately goes against people's religious beliefs. Like that is not right.
Right.
So you can't do that. So it's either selective. The way I see it is either you let the players select if they want to participate or not participate, or you just get away with everything. And I think the cleaner, better one is just get away from everything.
Yes.
Because now it's not news stories every single time someone elects not to.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think it was the right decision. It'll make it less busy and maybe get less politics out of the sport, which is
also
fantastic for all
better.
pro sports and just sports in general. So
which is
fantastic. Kind of the reason why
I don't know
hockey's
why
the best.
I don't know why they think people want politics in sports. You watch sports to escape from the world.
A lot of
I
crazy
know,
people
that's
want
true,
politics
yeah.
and everything, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, you watch
sports are an escape.
Yeah.
That's what they were made for. They were an
Yeah,
escape
you
for
can make a
entertainment,
political movie because people choose to watch a movie if they want to feel
or
watch
show or news or whatever.
Yeah, if they want to see something political, but no one ever watches hockey or football or baseball and says, "I would really go for some politics right now."
Right. Yeah,
Could
craziness.
splash some politics into my fucking NHL playoffs. That would be great.
Ridiculous. So yeah, that's crazy. So, okay, we'll finish up. How do we like the drink? Dilly didn't drink any of it.
It's really good. Honestly, not just saying that. It was good. Had a couple hits of it. I got a sugar problem. Like, sugar's super addictive, but some days I really get cranked. You know, I really
Big
want
crankage.
it. So I got to be careful. But
Flavor was
honestly,
pretty decent.
Yeah, it's fine.
I sound
It was
like a
good.
little bitch saying that. Let me just rephrase that.
Yeah.
I try not to drink a lot of soda, but I will drink this. But not all right now. Only when I
Span
need
it
those
out
hits,
next
yeah.
few days.
But anyways,
fine.
it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it
If
was
you make it
good
span
drink.
out 2 days, then it's really not that much sugar at all.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think it's pretty dang good.
Yeah, no, it's good flavor. So, shout out Badlands Chugs. Is that what it was?
Badlands, yeah.
Badlands, baby.
Chugs.
That dude's
Shout out.
disgusting.
We pray for his soul. He might not last too long. But, shout out.
Be
Go subscribe.
healthier.
Yes.
It's not cool to be disgustingly nasty
It's
with
not.
food.
But somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. It's
No,
got to be
somebody doesn't.
put
no,
his life on
not
the
that
line
stuff.
for
Same
for the
reason why I
views.
don't watch the hot dog eating competition. It's
Oof,
like, why
man.
do you want to
God,
watch?
dude.
Crazy.
Why would you want to watch that
Did
shit?
you ever
200 hot dogs or whatever?
I wonder how much. Did they ever do like blood work on that Joey Chestnut? That's his guy's name.
Joey's just then.
I want to see what that guy's.
I don't
Hey,
know, because
everybody
he
knows
also
his name.
looks kind of fit too. Like he must work out a lot.
He probably works
Yeah.
out a lot, so
guess
he
you have to,
tries to
yeah.
balance it, but I don't know how you balance that.
Or like the lemonade chug too. It's like
Same thing,
that's
yeah.
It's crazy.
Fucking the
Insane.
lemonade chug.
He
is-
might be in that Badlands
big-
guy. Might be in that.
Dude, all
Might
those
be.
dudes are looking big.
I think he
chungus.
is. We should look that up. I think he is in that lemonade chug.
Dude, like he basically is
Check
like
it
a
out.
fuck. All those dudes look like fucking relatives of Patrick Star because there's no fucking
I
neck.
want
They're
some
fucking so
lemonade.
fat. Their neck just like
It's true.
just
Shoulders
trans-
and head are
It's
connected.
like a connection. It's just like
Yeah.
It's like a web.
Do you
Okay, well, end it, but we're doing chapters 6 and 7
yes.
this week, right? Okay.
Yep.
We'll figure out. I'm going to Michigan for 4th of July, so
Nice, leaving us hanging.
so I'll figure out
That's
when
cool.
I'm leaving and all this stuff, and we'll figure out.
You don't even know when
recordings.
you're leaving?
Well, I think it's the 1st, but I want to figure
He's-
out when it is, or I don't know. So I think it might be
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll figure it out tomorrow.
All right.
I'm
Whenever
doing
we
that.
have the baseball game, that's when he's.
All right.
I
Sounds
wanted to
good.
go to the game.
He goes, I can't make it.
I really wanted to go to the game. I was
how you-
talking about it for like the past
Yeah.
couple months. I really wanted to go.
Well, there's more games, so
There's more games.
Cool,
You just
yeah.
need to. It's your turn to schedule the next game.
All right, deal.
We'll do it.
So, yeah, 6
All
and
right.
7. We'll get it done. We'll see you guys.
Cool.
Keep following. Let us know how you like the book. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Love you.
It's Dilly the Sport Guy. Billy the Sport Guy.
Sports, big
basketball,
sports guy.
basketball,
Big
football,
sport guy, that Dilly.
football, hockey, 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 hockey.